Welcome back to Colour With Me. Before we get started, don't forget to download and print the picture in the comments below. Today we're going to be colouring the pirate bear using pointillism or dot work, but I'll tell you more about that in a minute. As always, the video will be broken down into easy to follow steps with opportunities to pause after each section. Step 1. Pointillism or dot work is the use of small dots of colour to build up an image. So today we're going to be using lots and lots of dots to colour the cowboy bear. To do this I'll be using art markers and Sharpies, but if you don't have those, any felt tips will do. To get started, I've chosen a light brown for the bear's face, ears, hands and chest. What we're going to do is start to fill out those areas by dotting the pen to the paper. To start with, it'll look like the bear has a bad dose of chickenpox. You can make the dots very close together or further apart, and it doesn't matter if some of them overlap. Just remember to stay inside the lines. Step 2. This step is going to be broken down into two smaller sections where we'll be working on the nose, ears and shirt. For the nose and the inside of the ears, I'm going to be using a pink Sharpie. Again, dotting the pen to the paper and staying inside the lines. Don't forget to pause the video before we move on to the shirt. For this shirt, I'll be using two different shades of purple. Starting with the lighter shade, I'm going to fill in all of the areas on the shirt and then go over it again with the darker shade. Again, it doesn't matter if some of the dots overlap. The more dots you add, the more colourful the final piece will be. If you're using felt tips, you don't need to press too hard, otherwise you might split the nib of the pen. Step 3. Next we'll be working on the stripes on the trousers and the rim of the hat. I'm going to use red and dark blue, alternating them to create the stripes. Try to keep the dots closer together for this, and try not to go over the lines. This will make your overall picture much neater. Step 4. For this step I'll be working on the boots, belt and hat using grey and black pens. If we only use black, these objects would be too dark against the rest of the colours in the finished picture. So starting with the grey, I'll add dots to the boots, belt and hat and go over them with black dots when I'm finished. Don't colour the belt buckle, as we'll move on to that soon. Step 5. To finish off the bear, I'll be using yellow, orange and dark grey. I'll be making his pirate hook shirt laces and blade of the cutlass grey and using yellow and orange for the cutlass handle and the top of the hook. finishing off with green to add the emeralds to the cutlass handle. Step 6. Now that the bear is finished, he should look something like this. As you can see from the background, we're going to be using a lot of blue, so I'll be starting with the sky using the lightest blue and then moving on to yellow for the centre of the sun and orange for the outside of the sun and a light grey for the clouds. Step 7. For the sea, I'm going to use two shades of blue, a mid shade and a dark shade, starting with the mid blue and then going over it with the darker one. Once again, don't worry if you dot the dark blue spots on the light blue ones, it adds to the overall effect. Once I've finished that, I'm going to move on to the shark's fins using grey and black, just like we did for the hat, boots and belt, starting with the grey and then going over it with the black. Step 8. I'll be using mid and dark brown for this section. Firstly, using the mid brown, I'm going to go over the bear's face, ears, hands and neck, as I feel it's getting a bit lost now that we've added more colour. Then I'll be moving on to the treasure chest, tree trunk and pirate ship, which is a bit of a mouthful, using the mid brown first and then going over it with the darker shade. I'll leave the shovel handle for now as I don't want it to blend in with the tree trunk. Step 9. Now to colour the leaves on the tree, I'll be using 3 shades of green, a light, mid and dark, using the light green in the centre of the leaves and the dark green around the edges, then finally adding the mid shade to go over both the light and dark areas, and don't forget a tiny bit of grass at the bottom of the tree. I'm just going to finish off the pirate ship before I move on. All I'm going to do is make the sails red and blue to match the pirate's trousers, make the Jolly Roger flag black and use a mid-blue for the windows. Step 11. Now we're down to the last few bits and bobs. To start with, I'm going to use yellow and orange for the treasure in the chest, and then I'm going to move on to grey and dark brown for the spade, brown for the handle and grey for the head. For the sand, I'm going to be using two different shades of yellow. One of mine's neon, as I don't have very many shades of yellow. If you only have one yellow, you could use orange or even a light green. Step 12. For the final part of our picture, you will need a black felt tip pen or marker. All we're going to do is very carefully go over all of the black outlines. This will really make the pirate stand out and the picture pop. Now that we've finished, your pirate bear should look something like this. I hope you've enjoyed Colour with me. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more colouring fun. See you next time.